Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where you watch me draw and I talk about whatever. Today I'm making fan art of Dante from the Devil May Cry video games. Basically, I was scrolling through Pinterest instead of drawing as usual, and I came across this fisheye perspective pose reference. And it reminded me of Dante in his dance cutscene when he gets the cowboy hat from Nico in DMC 5. Also, when I checked the comments of that ref photo, I wasn't the only one who thought of Dante, so with that, I had my next art mission. When I was planning out this piece, I couldn't really decide which Dante design to go with. DMC 5 seemed the most obvious since, like I mentioned, that's the one where he gets the iconic hat. But if I'm being honest, I think it's the most boring of all of his looks. My next thought was DMC 4 Dante, because he has this cowboy vibe, which I thought would fit perfectly. However, 1 and 2 are probably my favorite designs. So, to help me reach a decision, I thought I would get some other opinions. So I posted a poll on my Instagram stories asking my followers to vote on their favorite design. And 3 won by a slim margin, but that means now you have to watch me struggle to draw abs as anatomically correct as I can manage in this pose. Okay, confession time. I got into DMC because of the Netflix show, which I later found out was stunningly controversial, which is to say it was hated by most game fans. But I had never interacted with Devil May Cry until the show, so I didn't know anything going into it. And I have to say, while it is very different from the storyline from the games, I still think the show is good. It's doing its own thing and adding a lot more to worlding. Even though there are a lot of changes from the plot of the games, I don't think the characters are nearly as unrecognizable as some game fans tend to make them out to be. The show stands up pretty well on its own, and it's done its fair share of bringing a new audience to the franchise. I mean, I wouldn't be making this video today if I'd never seen it. Not that I'm known for my impeccable taste or anything, but it's really not that bad. And I would encourage others to give it a watch too, especially if they've never played the games before. Like, I get that not everyone needs to like it, and especially if you are familiar with the game canon, it might be jarring to see a different storyline play out, but, like, that's just what happens in adaptations. I'm a Marvel and DC fan, so maybe I'm more familiar with going into a show or movie with the understanding that I cannot assume something is canon just because it was in something else. Don't get me wrong. All this is not to say that I'm against any criticism for the show, but sometimes I just get tired of seeing people getting basically bullied for expressing even the slightest positivity for the show, and this sort of thing happens in all fandoms, so you'll probably hear me say this kind of thing a lot. As a side note, I've been seeing people call Show Virgil ugly, and I genuinely feel like I'm being gaslit, because at worst, he looks like a generic anime guy. Like, say what you will about him not looking like Game Virgil, but calling him ugly? Anyway, I'm still not beating the fake fan allegations because I have no intentions of becoming a gamer. On the account that the game is too expensive and my computer cannot handle something like it anyways. And also for someone who literally has never played a video game that's not like the 2 times I played Mario Kart, it really doesn't appeal to me. However, I get around that by watching the cinematic supercuts or plot-focused playthroughs that are on YouTube, and shout out to the people who make those because they are carrying the fandom by making it more accessible to people like me. I'm actually really glad I found this reference because I had just finished a piece for the Dislight Halloween fan art contest in which I used a fair amount of perspective work. The thing about perspective is that straight lines and rooms are actually not hard to do, but drawing organic shapes like people are considerably harder, especially if they gotta be in different poses and stuff. So I'm glad to get more practice in that department. The style I'm going for is really similar to the last piece I made on this channel of the Gotham City Sirens, with a thicker, punchier line art, but I also wanted to go for something like the Gurren Lagann eye catches. I guess I'm really into the heavy line and shadow look right now. And people around me also keep mentioning JoJo, so maybe that is going to be next on my watch list. I've been kind of feeling like my art and my style is stagnating a bit, so honestly I'm just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I've always struggled with the idea of my art style. I certainly have a way of drawing that I think I've made personal to me, but at the same time, I worry a lot that I'm not consistent enough. Since every so often I feel like my style changes completely every time I find a new brush or watch a new show. It certainly bothers me a lot less now compared to like 5 years ago because change is good. I guess now I'm more concerned that my changes are more of a step to the side than a step forward and that I'm not actually improving. But anyway, here's Dante. I added the jackpot at the bottom because I felt like it needed something to balance the piece, but then it felt really bottom heavy, so I added the explosion in the background. And like many of my drawings, you can find this as a design on Redbubble, so go check that out and I'll put a link in the description as well. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions for video ideas, you can let me know in the comments. Follow me on Instagram at KaitlinVerse to see the rest of my work. Right now I'm doing an alphabet art challenge where I draw a character for every letter of the alphabet. And if you comment suggestions under those posts, I might pick it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.